If you have ever tried growing online, you probably have heard the most annoying advice in the world. Just post. But I actually did. For 30 days, I posted every day as a VTuber. I wanted to see if that advice was actually useful or if it was just something successful people said after they've already figured out what works. So why did just post annoy me so much? It's vague. Post what? Post when? Post how often? Post gaming clips, reactions, shorts, long form, art, VTuber stuff? What is a niche and why does it sound like it might eat me? My point being, just post sounds simple, but when you're actually starting, it can feel like being handed a blank page and told, okay, now build a career out of this. I don't want every video that I make to feel like a midlife crisis over what the subject should be, and just post made that confusion even worse. What I ended up doing was making one YouTube video a day that was at least 10 minutes long, 2 shorts a day, and I was actively posting and commenting on Twitter, or X if you're weird, which is pretty aggressive, don't get me wrong, but the point was more to force myself into a flow of being able to post at all, and also looking to see what did and did not work. I made a variety of videos, just whatever I could figure out that day. I did do bulk videos on the weekends, which helped a lot, but it was hard. And when I looked at the videos that actually performed better, the pattern was pretty obvious. The easier the video was to understand from the outside perspective, the better chance it had. The clips and videos with a clear subject, like scary game, drama, reacting to something weird, were much more likely to get clicks. You didn't need to know me, you didn't need to know my channel, you didn't need to know the full context. You could look at it and go, oh, something scary or funny is about to happen. Let me watch this. But the videos that needed more explaining had a harder time. The biggest example I have for this was me watching random old Japanese VHS tapes with my friend. I still think it was an interesting concept, but it was really hard to make interesting at a glance. Probably one of the most useful things the stats showed me was that consistency gave me data, but clarity is what made people care enough to click. All of my spare time went to doing this experiment. After about 2 weeks, I was really feeling the stress and drain from doing nothing else. I was wondering if I was going to be able to pull this off, and I was missing my friends, and I wanted to just relax, and my chores were falling behind, and then I walked in on my partner watching one of my videos. He was having his lunch, playing a game, and looked slightly embarrassed that he had been caught. I didn't really say anything to him in that moment, but I left his office not long after I got what I needed, and I just kind of thought, even if he is the only one who watches these videos, I'm happy with that. The hard work was still taxing, but I stopped questioning if I could do it. Now, while the advice of just post is super annoying, it did kind of work. It did help me grow a small amount, yes, but it gave me things that were much more valuable. It helped me to stop waiting for perfect ideas, to build a habit of posting, learn what kind of content is easier and harder to make, which ones I absolutely hated, and what kind of content I actually liked, to stop treating every upload like it had to define my whole career, and to get actual feedback from real uploads instead of guessing forever. Posting every day made creating content less scary and overwhelming. Just posting taught me a lot. I learned what kind of content I actually want to make, and what I can post continuously without starting to hate my life. I learned that some ideas sound great, like watching random old VHS tapes, but are actually really hard to package into a clickable video. I also learned that I don't like reaction content very much, even though it seems to be the most popular and reliable way to grow at the moment. So my next problem is figuring out how to make content that is both creative and clickable, because I want to grow as a VTuber without hating what I'm doing. That doesn't mean it's an actual growth strategy though. Just post is not good advice in the long term. It was a really good experiment for me to figure out my limits and what I actually want to do in the future. Just post doesn't really teach anything about what makes a good video title, what makes a good thumbnail, what an audience expects, if a video idea is actually clickable, anything about SEO and analyzing your statistics or what your channel is becoming. I had to go research that all on my own. After 30 days, I don't think just posting is wrong. I just think it doesn't include the context needed to actually get most people to do it. If you're stuck and unsure of what to do, then yes, just post. But if you're already moving, you need to start asking harder questions like what worked, what did not work, what felt sustainable, what kind of content do you and other people actually want to see. Just post is not a growth strategy. It is a starting strategy. And as a starter strategy, it actually isn't too bad of advice.